We'll be looking at the Star Wars franchise this week, and I'll give you all the information that you need to know to be prepared for next week's The Last Jedi. We'll start with 1977's Star Wars: A New Hope. Princess Leia of the planet Alderaan gets captured by the evil Darth Vader of the Empire after sending the plans for the superweapon the Death Star to the desert planet of Tatooine with the droids R2-D2 and C-3PO. When the droids land, they are captured and sold to local moisture farmers Owen Lars and his nephew Luke Skywalker. Luke, R2, and C-3PO eventually find the Jedi Obi-Wan, Ben Kenobi, who tells Luke that he knew his father, who was also a Jedi. The group also discovers a recording asking for Obi-Wan Kenobi's help at getting the Death Star plans to the Resistance. So Luke, Ben, and the droids ask for the help of Han Solo and his co-pilot Chewbacca the Wookiee to get Leia the plans. However, once in space, their ship is captured by the Death Star. Luke and Han break Princess Leia out of her jail cell, and Ben disables the security so that the Death Star can release the Millennium Falcon. But he is killed right when the group is ready to leave. They deliver the plans to the rebel base on the planet Yavin 4, where they discover that if they shoot an exhaust port on the Death Star, it will explode. Luke and several other Resistance members fly X-Wing ships to the Death Star, where Luke successfully uses his Force abilities to guide a shot into the port, and the Death Star explodes. And now we're at 1980's Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. The rebels have had to move their base to the ice planet Hoth after being found on Yavin 4. And after being attacked by a monster, Luke sees a ghost of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who tells him to go to the swamp planet of Dagobah to be trained by the Jedi Master Yoda. The Empire finds out that Hoth is the new rebel base, and they attack the rebels. So Luke and R2 escape in an X-Wing, and Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and C-3PO escape on Han's ship, the Millennium Falcon. Luke finds his way to Dagobah, where Yoda reluctantly trains him in the ways of the Jedi. Han, Leia, and the rest of the group, meanwhile, are followed by a bounty hunter named Boba Fett to the Cloud City on the planet Bespin, where Luke meets his old friend Lando Calrissian. But Lando's made a deal with Darth Vader to protect Leia, Chewie, and C-3PO in exchange for the capture of Han, which Vader lies about, capturing all of them instead. Luke gets a vision of this, and he leaves for the Cloud City. Han, meanwhile, gets frozen in carbonite and taken by Boba Fett back to Tatooine, where he's given to Jabba the Hutt. Leia, Chewie, Lando, and C-3PO escape on the Millennium Falcon, right as Luke arrives, where he finds Darth Vader and they have a lightsaber duel. During the fight, Vader cuts off Luke's hand, reveals himself to be Luke's father, and then Luke is rescued by the Millennium Falcon. He gets a robot hand, and the group sets off to rescue Han. Which brings us to 1983's Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Luke and Chewbacca sneak into Jabba the Hutt's palace and free Han from the carbonite, but then they're captured, and then Leia's enslaved. Luke tries to rescue the group, but he too is captured, and then him and Han are sentenced to death. Luke and Han break free, and Leia kills Jabba, and Boba Fett is eaten by the monster. Luke goes back to Dagobah to find a dying Yoda, who tells him that Darth Vader is indeed his father, but then Yoda dies. And Luke sees Ben Kenobi's ghost, who tells Luke that Leia is his twin sister. Finding out that the Death Star is being rebuilt, the rebels go to the moon Endor to disable the Death Star shield. Luke goes to Endor and tells Leia the news of their parentage, and then he's taken by the Death Star to the Death Star by Darth Vader's forces. The rebels then meet the Ewoks, the inhabitants of Endor, and form an alliance with them. Luke is taken to the Emperor, who threatens to destroy Endor with the Death Star, and then Luke and Vader start fighting, with Luke winning before being attacked by the Emperor. Vader kills the Emperor, and then he dies. The rebels disable the shield in Endor, and the Death Star is destroyed. And that finally brings us to 2015's Star Wars: The Force Awakens. 30 years after the Return of the Jedi, Resistance pilot Poe Dameron and his droid BB-8 have searched to get information on the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker, who's missing. They are met by the villainous Kylo Ren of the First Order. Poe is captured, but BB-8 escapes with the information. Then he meets a scavenger named Rey. And after torturing Poe, Kylo realizes that BB-8 has crucial information and sends for stormtroopers to capture the droid. Poe is helped by a defective stormtrooper named Finn to escape, but they crash, and Poe's believed to be dead. So Finn finds his way to Rey and BB-8, and they escape on the Millennium Falcon. While in space, they're boarded by Solo and Chewbacca. Kylo Ren, however, meets with his master via Lord Snoke, where he is revealed to be the son of Han Solo, and later Leia. After being attacked by space gangs who alert the First Order, the group talks with the wise old Maz Kanata. Rey finds Luke's old lightsaber, and she has a series of visions which scare her, and she is taken by Kylo Ren to Starkiller Base after an attack. Maz gives Finn the lightsaber, and he flees with Han, Chewie, and BB-8 to go to the Rebel base. Rey, meanwhile, escapes using a newfound power, and Finn, Han, and Poe, who is believed to be alive, form a plan to rescue Rey and destroy the base. So the group goes to the Falcon, or takes the Falcon to the base, and they meet up with Rey. The group gets separated, and Han Solo finds himself face-to-face with Kylo, who kills him. The rebels begin to destroy the base. Rey and Finn fight Kylo Ren, who knocks Finn out unconscious. Rey uses the Force to call Luke's lightsaber to her, and then she defeats Kylo Ren. Her and Finn escape on the Falcon, and Kylo also escapes. Rey finds the location to Luke's whereabouts, which R2-D2 had, where her and Chewie travel, and she offers Luke his lightsaber. And now you're all caught up to see The Last Jedi. I'm Michael Donelan, and this has been The Catch-Up, Star Wars edition.